Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Finca.
Morning.
Severe weather warning for today. We're going back to those ridiculous temperatures. It's supposed to be 38 today, and it's already very hot.
100.4 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we thought we are going to be cracking on with.
Yes,
the,
I'm going to be doing a bit more on the roof in the hayloft. And we've got a few other things to do.
Yeah.
But it's too hot to make great video watch unless you want to watch me stick lime mortar in the walls.
Not very interesting, no. So we thought we'd take this opportunity to do a bit of a chat on the pros and cons of living off-grid. As those of you that follow us know, we are 100% completely off-grid. We're not connected to any mains services whatsoever.
Sewage, electric or water.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, it's great most of the time, but we do face issues, so we thought we'd share that with you, and it might help those of you that are thinking of doing something similar to form your own decision of whether it's the right thing for you.
Yeah,
so.
And this is from our personal point of view. In Spain, other countries will have different, you know, there'll be differences, but hopefully I'll give you an idea, you know, to be able to know what to look for and what to weigh up if you're looking to make that decision, if you have to make that decision, or if even if you're just interested in learning about the pros and cons of living off grid. The first thing we like about it, well, we consider it a pro, is the independence. You know, we're not reliant on big companies at their mercy to make sure we've got electricity and water and fresh water. Spain in general, I mean, all the places we've lived over the last 10 or 11 years, power cuts are just so frequent. I mean, sometimes you'll get like a split-second power cut, which obviously it kills computers, things like that. And then, you know, if it hasn't killed it, by the time you've restarted it, you know, and got it all running again, which we all know takes time, you'll get another split-second power cut.
Yeah.
And you can have them like, I had to have a UPS on the computer at our last place. It was that bad. And that's an uninterruptible power supply, that your little pack that you put your computer in, but that's another topic. So, yeah, I mean, Sharon was just saying about a friend of yours that's...
They've been without power for 2 days. I don't know whether it was an issue with the electricity provider or something in their house, but yeah, it's great for us to know that we've got power, and if we've
been cut off for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours in the past.
Yeah.
No warning at all. You know, if they're going to do work on it, they let you know. It's terrible. So we don't get power cuts, which is a major, you know, plus for us. Imagine running your washing machine and then the power goes off.
Fridge freezer,
freezer,
you can have hundreds of pounds worth of, or euros in our case, of food in your freezer, and if it's off for, you know, any length of time.
And you've no idea how long it's going to be off for.
No.
That's the other thing.
No.
So it can be 5 minutes, you know, or it can be, you know, best part of the day as well. So yeah, big plus for us.
Yeah.
And the same with the water.
Yeah, I mean, Andy was away the last time it happened, big time. I got up in the morning, flushed the loo, it didn't refill. So that was 8 o'clock in the morning. The water didn't come back on until 3 in the afternoon. Now that is a hell of a long time. We've got cats that needed drinks. Without any warning, you know, it used to happen back in the UK very occasionally, but they'd tell you, they'd send you a letter to notify you, so you could fill the bath with water and fill saucepans with water and
various things. Yeah, and so you know how long it's going to be off for.
Yeah.
You know, you can't have a cup of coffee,
no,
which is very important in the morning.
I mean, we both drink fizzy water, so you can't make your tea or coffee with fizzy water. It's not nice.
Only because it's refreshing.
Yeah, nothing wrong with our water, I assure you, but we just prefer a nice fizzy water.
Yeah, I mean, and then we'll come to the cons in a minute, because we've got to make sure we've got electric and water, but we'll come to that in a bit.
Yeah. Whilst on the subject of water, when the water does go off and then comes back on again, we very often get horrible brown muddy water, and that can last a couple of days, and it's disgusting. At least we have control over the quality of our water. We've got numerous filters, which you will have seen in previous videos, and we can test it. We know exactly what we're drinking. It's perfectly safe.
I mean, if you're on good, you can still test your water why you want to or be inclined to. I don't know. You would perhaps not even think about it. But even then, if it's not up to quality, which, I mean, the water in Spain is allegedly potable, but unless you test it, you don't know for certain. And if there is anything wrong with it, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it anyway, unless you want to start fitting under sink water filtration systems and that.
Yeah. We again, back where we used to stay, sometimes in the morning I'd say to Andy, is your coffee okay? Because I drink tea and I drink it black without sugar, so there's nothing to disguise the taste, and it would be really chemical.
Sharon gets 3 or 4 cups out of one tea bag. It's like, so there's a lot of water taste in there.
But it would taste full of chemicals first thing in the morning. Andy didn't always taste it because he has 2 sugars of milk, but
proper
I could definitely taste
standard
it. Not
coffee.
Nice.
Yeah. So another, I mean, so that's a big pro for us as well. You know, we've always got fresh, clean water. We have a stack of filters, which is another con which we'll come to shortly. But yeah, we have a stack of filters and we keep an eye on them and we change them as and when necessary. It comes out crystal clear. It's never brown. It never smells. It's
no.
You know. So yeah, we're very happy with that. The last and biggest plus for us with being off grid, I'm referring to my notes, is it's free. Basically, obviously it isn't free, but it is. All the electric that we use doesn't cost us anything. The initial setup costs in our case, and obviously this doesn't apply to everyone, it was less for both the water and the electric than getting connected to the grid. It was thousands and thousands. So that was the absolute no-brainer for us in the first place, wasn't it? It was 5,500 to collect to the electric and 3,500 I think they wanted for the water. We have mentioned this before, so we won't go into massive detail on it.
No.
It's in another video somewhere. So yeah, that was an absolute no-brainer for us because it cost us less to get the setup, including the batteries and the generator, than it would have cost us to get the grid. The water wasn't that much at all because we had the big tank that they used to keep the wine in. We just had to seal that up, which is another story. Plus there's a 7,000 litre deposit in the courtyard just to the side over there. And we've got another 40,000 litre deposit out, both of which now hold water because they've been used. So the cost of, the pumps, well, it's negligible really, maybe less than €1,000. The only ongoing cost we've got, if it rains, we can collect, plenty of water, and we should theoretically be able to collect enough water for ourselves for like 9 months of the year. Depending on how much it rains through the winter. But if we've got to buy it in, we did this the other day as well, the cost is still less than what we'd be paying for water if we had a meter.
The thing is, it's not the cost of the water, it's the standing charges and the tax and everything else. You get your bill and it's all itemised, and the actual usage of water and electricity is minimal. But it's all those extra costs that we don't have. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So whether you decide to do that, obviously it depends on your circumstances, but the couple not far from here got a similar place, but it's on the edge, it's in a village basically, just on the edge of a village, and they've just had their water collected, electricity connected. It cost them €1,500, and
it was already there.
It was already there,
had to
essentially.
Yeah.
So, and should they get solar now they've done that? It's it's hard to say. But if they don't want power cuts, which they'll get frequently, and didn't want to have to pay that initial thing, who knows? Every situation is different, so we're trying to give you the information you need to make that decision, or just to be interested in.
Yeah.
Yes. So total outlay. So even yeah, in spite of the total outlay, that's a con. We'll get to those in a minute. But yeah, the cost of the installation is, you know, even taking that into account, I think we're still much happier with what we've got.
Yeah.
Anything else on?
Not really, no. Because we're going to move on now to sort of the downside of
the cons.
yeah.
Yeah, so running in from initial setup cost, that's a bit of a downside, a bit of a con. Not a con as in con man, con as in a yeah, the opposite of a pro. So yeah, and it's a considerable amount you've got to spend, and the problem is you've got to lay it out in one big lump sum, you know, €5,000 or whatever, sometimes more. So yeah, that's definitely a negative point. So again, you know, if you're just connected to the grid, once you've still got to pay a horrendous connection charge in Spain anyway, but it's nowhere near as big as you know, the outlay for that, and then you just pay monthly. Then with these flicky off switches where we have no monthly to pay.
No. I think what I say as well is because we are responsible, totally responsible for our own power. There's a lot more work involved than just switching on the light switch and getting your electricity from the grid. If you remember, last week I was cleaning the solar panels because we'd had 4 spots of rain. Well, this morning I've been out there, I need to do them again because the other night we had probably the same 4 or 5 spots of rain, and they are absolutely filthy again, and that reduces the efficiency of them, obviously. So yeah, constantly cleaning the solar panels is one of
our
the
areas
cons.
may be different because we're in close proximity to North Africa, and at certain times of the year we get the big sand cloud coming over from the Sahara, which makes everything orange sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's you've got to constantly be, you know, maintaining them, making sure they're clean, because in the mornings, now the sun's coming up later, we need that more power in the morning. If they're filthy, it does affect what we produce.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's that's another ongoing thing.
Yeah, and being conscious of when we use the electricity. You know, I can't put my washer on first thing in the morning or last thing at night before I go to bed. I have to wait until the batteries are fully charged to put the washer on. Something you wouldn't have to think about if you were on grid.
And the sun's shining as well.
And the sun's shining. Of course, if it's a dull day, I don't use the washing machine. We have got the backup generator that we could use, but that costs money as well. So we try and limit the amount of time we use that for.
That's it. Yeah, so you're constantly managing, you know, or keeping an eye and being aware of what you're using and how much you're producing, so rather than just putting the washing machine on any time, 24 hours a day. You've got to think about that. Yeah.
With regards to the water, of course, we have to buy those pesky filters, and we have to make sure that they're changed regularly and kept clean. So that's a con, if you like, because it's...
yeah, the cost of the filters is, to be honest, it's negligible, but you've still got to, it's another thing we
have to think about.
You've got to keep doing on a regular basis, plus pumping the water as well.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on, we could get a big 20,000 litre tank up the ground at a gravity feed into our purification tank, but again, it's another 10,000, 15,000 euros for something like that. But with what we've got when we get it delivered, we can only hold so much in our tank, and in the IBCs we use for the water in the land. So we've got to constantly be pumping, maybe once a week, transferring water until the deposit's empty, and then we get probably a month or 2 then, where we can just not have to pump and just use what we've got till it rains again. Replenishes our stocks, we've got to pump it into the tank, you know. So it's, you don't just 9 times out of 10, I say 9 times out of 10 because it probably is, you turn the tap on in Spain, water comes out, not always 10 times. At least if we manage ours properly, you know, we turn the tap on and water comes out. But you're responsible for your own
And on that note as well, turning the tap on, you have to get used to not wasting water. It's very valuable to us. So if I run the tap to pull off the cold to get the hot water through, I then put that onto the plants. I don't waste anything. I don't leave the tap running when I'm cleaning my teeth anymore.
You can waste it if you want, but it just means more work for you.
Yeah.
You know, buying it in because you're using more than's falling out of the sky, etc.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes you more aware.
It makes you more aware.
You know,
switching lights off when you go from one room to the next, you know, instead of leaving them like Blackpool illuminations. Sorry guys, in the States you probably don't know what that is. It's a place in the UK, in England. Every year in October they have a big display of lights, the illuminations.
Trams covered in lights and
yeah,
things like
it's
that.
amazing.
Yeah. Google
amazing
it.
to see, yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's... We said about the cost, didn't we?
Yeah.
So pretty much, I mean, we can't, you know, we're happy with the situation.
No
that we've
regrets
got.
whatsoever.
Yeah, and thanks to Paul and Anna at Fortuna Logica, we've got another 6 panels on the way as well, which again, you know, early mornings will be a valuable thing. So yeah, thank you so much to you guys
Thank
once
you again,
again.
guys.
The other thing, the off-grid is the septic tank, isn't it?
Yes, the
But
sewage waste.
We're not going into that only because in Spain, so many houses that are grid connected
Still have a septic tank.
You know, 90% of the villas and stuff dotted around, even though they've got mains, electric and water, it's very, very common in Spain to have a septic tank to deal with your waste. Normal, almost, isn't it?
So I think we've covered everything. If we have missed something or you have a question as a result of what we've been chatting about today,
We're sure there are many.
put your question down in the comments below and we'll try and answer it for you. Hope you found it interesting.
And again, it's from our
purely
point of view,
our point of view.
But hopefully it's giving you the information to what to look for if you're considering going down that
about yourselves.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching, guys. As always,
give us a like if you enjoyed it.
And we'll see you tomorrow.